Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to 3302. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. Today we're going to take a look at the AI fixes that were introduced at the end of last week, the Horizon's Xbox release, the insurance reimbursement, and Phase 2 of the Dangerous games has finally begun. Last week saw some highly anticipated updates for the engineers. Now a number of fixes were introduced, all are focused on the AI. One was to remove the engineers modifications from the NPC ships, so now if you drop into extraction sites or go into conflict zones, or indeed get into any other fight with NPCs, it's highly unlikely that they are going to be using engineer modifications for their weapons or anywhere else on their ship. A lot of people are quite disappointed by this, and for many others it's a sign to rejoice at. Also that was fixed was the overpowered NPCs' weapons. Now a lot of NPCs were actually one-shotting players or killing them within a matter of seconds. There were a few out there that didn't believe this was actually going on, despite the fact there was plenty of video evidence, but finally Frontier did issue a fix. Now there was some bug in the code, it took Frontier quite a long time to track this down and fix it, but essentially what was going on was that NPCs were using unusual combinations of weapons. So for example they were getting beam lasers that work like cannons, or railguns that could fire as fast as multi-cannons. So at last this has been fixed, but of course it did cause a lot of issues while it was in place, causing a lot of players to lose a lot of claims on their ships, having to pay huge insurance bills. Fortunately Frontier have announced that they're going to reimburse absolutely every single insurance claim that has been made since patch 2.1 went live. So a lot of money going back into players' hands again, and I suspect that means many people are going to be very happy, especially if they've had a number of accidental deaths during that time. Last week also saw the release of Horizons on Xbox. This release brings the Xbox version of the game in line with the PC version, and also of course included the Engineers update. So from this point on, the Xbox version of the game will be updated at the same time as the PC version of the game, at least that's the intention. And of course all owners of Horizons have a load more to look forward to yet. There's the new ship-launched fighters as well as the new passenger mission system, both due in patch 2.2. In patch 2.3 there's going to be a commander creator along with multi-crew, and for patch 2.4 there's something as yet unannounced. And just as a reminder for those of you that are unsure, a PS4 version of the game is in development. The Dangerous games have finally got underway at the end of last week, with a massive community goal. Now this is the wildcard round of the Dangerous games, and it will determine who goes through to compete with the other 5 factions. So this is Phase 2 of the Dangerous games, and it includes the following factions: E.G. Pilots, Adele's Armada Coalition, Blackbird Squadron, United German Commanders Coalition, and the Wolves of Jonai. Now for this round of the games, the groups need to mine as much gold as they possibly can, and they will need support from both their members as well as any other player who is willing to commit their time to these events. Now to sign up, simply go to the community goals on the mission boards where you can sign up for your chosen faction. You can aid any one of these 5 factions, and to find out more about them you can have a look at the links in the video description below. So far I've got links for Adele's Armada, there's a forum thread there, as well as another forum thread for the United German Commanders Coalition. If any of the other groups do have some forum threads or websites that they'd like me to link to, do let me know so I can put them in the video descriptions of a future video. And of course the Wolves of Jonai have their very own YouTube channel with Chaos Wolf, their leader. And again you can see that in the video description below, along with another link to the official Dangerous Games forum thread that gives all the details for the community goals that are going to be coming up. Talking of the forums, forum member Terry Brugge Hiplo, and I apologise if I pronounced your name wrong there, has created a great thread on the forums and is actually calling for assistance from all players. He's begun a campaign called No2O, and this is aimed at creating a great resource for HUD and UI modifications. Of course, currently by default they are all orange. You can modify the UI code on the PC, but if you do so, you're at risk of ruining the portraits of the engineers and the mission givers. Now there are some UI codes that you can use that do avoid this. I've got one of them myself because Frontier has issued a bit of a fix to this, but there's still certain colours that if you use them, they do mess things up. So if you go to the forum thread that I'm discussing here, you can find out a collection of resources of UI's colours that you can actually use that don't cause any problems at all. And if you do have your own UI colour, you could share it there in the forum thread for other people to use. Now I'd also like to recommend another resource, and this is for everyone out there trying to collect materials and wondering where to go to get them. There's a forum thread called Prospecting Central, and it's got absolutely everything you need to know about where to go to collect certain types of materials. Now within the game itself, many players have pointed out that they feel the game is quite weak in pointing them towards where they need to go to collect materials. But fortunately there are a whole bunch of external tools and resources, and this is one of them. It's organised by a whole bunch of different players and has been worked on for many months, in fact nearly all of this year. Not only does it provide details on where to find specific materials, but it also provides information on how and where to work out what planets are most likely to have certain types of materials. So if this at all sounds like an interesting resource to you, do head out there and take a look at it. And of course, if you'd like to get yourself involved in helping out with this Prospecting Central, I'm sure they would appreciate the help. That brings us to the end of this episode of 3302 then. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time. Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. I'm here at Elvira's engineer base looking to see what module upgrades she's got available. Now I do want to continue upgrading my FSD. I've actually got grade 2 unlocked with the engineer Felicity, so I'll probably head back to her in just a moment, but I wanted to see what other upgrades she had available here.